We return to Will's story. As for outcomes, Will successfully attained his HSC and CNA credential and completed his work experience at Mercer Hospital. Will enjoyed his time at Mercer Hospital greatly and decided to apply for a CNA role in the neurology department. They hired him immediately. Although Will obtained employment, he still speaks with his counselor every month to check in. When speaking to his counselor, Will shared that he received an unexpected medical bill. His counselor set an appointment to receive financial literacy services to discuss next steps for contacting the hospital to begin a payment plan that is reasonable given current income. Now, how can we capture Will's outcomes and ongoing engagement and follow-up support? The AOSOS Technical Guide for Title I Service Delivery offers specific details on outcomes, data entry, and recording follow-up services on pages 19 through 25. Recording outcomes information in AOSOS is critical to ensuring accurate information is reported to USDOL, as well as managing caseloads to ensure the ongoing success of customers from measurable skill gain to credential attainment, employment, and employment retention occurs. In the Services module under the Training Outcomes tab, specific information regarding whether a training credential was completed, what skills the customer gained, what additional steps may be necessary for attaining a credential, and whether these steps were completed and the customer ultimately attained the credential is recorded. Furthermore, this tab should provide an active summary of current training status. Here we see that Will attained his HSC and CNA certificate. Further, we can click on Outcome Details to enter more information about measurable skill gains. In the Training Outcome Details pop-up, additional details about measurable skill gains must be entered. In the Employment Outcomes tab, customers' employment information must be entered and updated to reflect the current status of employment. Employment outcomes may be entered through three different mechanisms: receipt of information and documentation directly from the customer, lookup of employment information via loops, and review of employment information that populates from loops in the Outcomes tab after a 6-month period. Finally, after an individual is exited from WIOA services, it is critical that their support continue to include follow-up and the possibility of follow-up services. Follow-up attempts that may or may not result in follow-up engagement can be recorded through the follow-up attempted activity in the Activities tab. In Will's case, his counselor helped to ensure a smooth transition from training to employment by making follow-up attempts monthly. Any follow-up service must be entered in the Services tab as a funded follow-up service. A same-day follow-up service should be entered each time a customer engages directly in additional contact and receives support during the follow-up period. In some cases, this will just be entered as a general follow-up service. However, for youth, there are 5 program elements that are allowable as follow-up services. In Will's case, financial literacy services were offered and received as a follow-up service when Will answered his counselor's call and shared that he received an unexpected medical bill. Through the one-stop youth provider, Will was able to receive financial literacy assistance to discuss next steps for contacting the hospital to set up a payment plan that is reasonable given current income. It is important to remember that as with other funded services, outcomes and details about a funded follow-up service must be captured in the Outcome/Status field in the Achievement Objectives tab and should include running details about points of follow-up connection, duration of those connection points, topics discussed, and specific supports provided. Finally, information and details about an individual's engagement in activities and services during active engagement or follow-up can also be recorded in the Services Comments tab. Again, specific information related to outcomes entry and follow-up is included in pages 19 through 25 of the AOSOS Technical Guide.